You've probably heard of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. That's a time-tested and valid model. I'm adapting it to my current approach to downsizing, looking ahead to the inevitable move from a house to something smaller in a couple of years. I'm confronting my accumulation. Moves over the past 20 years winnowed down a lot of furniture and electronics, but the core clutter remains very stable. That's vinyl records, books, including I Learned to Write from 1964, shoeboxes of chronologically arranged photos, historical newspapers, binders of clips from my journalism days, Princeton reunions, costumes and bags, hundreds of letters sorted by year, and folders of research materials I used for my saucy memoir. So let's start with the denial stage. I always assert that I don't require that much space for my stuff. Well, that always gets a big laugh from my partner and open mic videographer, Naomi. But being at the point where I have to move boxes to reach other boxes, well, that suggests I need to face reality. Well, I've passed the denial stage. What's next is not so much anger, but resignation over necessity. Something's got to give, or more properly, to go. I'm starting with my record collection. My thinking, I can hear everything online on YouTube anyway. Plus, records are a royal pain in the tuchus to move if you've ever done it. Last week, a man from Hudson Valley Vinyl in Beacon came to scope out my record collection and make an offer on the albums he wanted. Before Vinyl Meister Chris arrived, I spent a half hour clearing space in the basement storage room to reach the records. Shades of hoarders! Then I flipped through hundreds of albums to decide which to keep and which to jettison. The stacks reflected my evolving musical tastes. Obsessive compulsive that I am, I wrote the dates I bought albums on their covers, so that way I can track the shift of my taste from Southern rock and pop through B.B. King, Hall & Oates, Dinah Washington, Chet Baker, Miles Davis, and finally Bossa Nova, my obsession of the last 20 years. Well, the keep stack represents the bargaining stage of the cycle. That means I'll sell those, but I'm not going to sell these. That elite list includes Simon and Garfunkel's greatest hits, a gift from my mother on my 16th birthday, a Coleman Hawkins album recorded on the actual day I was born, the soundtrack to the movie Chinatown, which I got at the Virgin Mega Store in London in 1984 and lugged all the way back to Brooklyn, my Woodstock soundtrack stuffed with clippings from about artists who performed there, their Satanic Majesty's Request, ooh, this is a wild one, from the Rolling Stones. And I'm keeping the first 3 ZZ Top albums, the soundtrack of my high school years with songs like Somebody Else Been Shaking Your Tree. As Chris methodically checked the hundreds of albums I would sell, I moved to what I call the curiosity stage. What would he take? Well, he settled on 60 LPs, although he had to leave many others behind because they were scratched. I didn't get all sentimental over what he wanted, preferring to let them quietly slip away to give joy to new listeners. The top album on the stack was a Billie Holiday collection from 1933 to 1935. So now what? Hundreds of records remain. Westchester has other record stores, and I hope some would want classic jazz. Would they want Grand Funk Railroad and Iron Butterfly? Well, probably not. And that moves me to the final phase, enthusiasm shading toward Kubler-Ross's acceptance stage. Downsizing, I found, takes on a momentum of its own. The first steps are hard, but after Chris left, I felt good about the progress. And the cash didn't hurt either. Indeed, I'm ready to wheel and deal some more. At this stage, I'm looking forward to a little less to pack whenever the next move comes along. And now I'm starting the downsizing cycle on books. Tomorrow, Naomi and I will take boxes of books to Goodwill in Baldwin Place. And I'm writing to see if friends are interested in books from my Judaica collection. And then I have all my books on the Soviet Union, some of which are blood-wrenched rarities. Wow. One is Traitors on Trial, the English transcript of the 1938 show trial held in Moscow that ended in a lot of immediate executions. The book is truly history in my hands. I've got to keep it. But will I? I'm starting over at the denial stage. I'll have to wait and see. Thank you.